How we doing, everybody? Today we're going to talk about the one, the only Jamahal Hill, Mr. Sweet Dreams, that is going through a little bit of a tough time on social media right now. Of course, the former light heavyweight champion of the world shot to global stardom, beat Glover Teixeira, became the champ, did it in Glover's backyard of Rio de Janeiro, tears the Achilles tendon, relinquishes the belt, then gets to fight Alex Pereira, and of course, we know what happened. He got knocked out, there was weird circumstances, Pereira takes one in the balls, Herb Dean goes to step in, Pereira's like, no, Chama, boom, cracks him, okay? And then since then, Jamahal Hill has had a hard time accepting the loss, okay? And that's what's kind of causing people to talk a lot of shit, because when he beat Glover Teixeira, that was such an amazing moment to see how overcome with emotion he was and what this entire journey has meant to him. To be able to climb and fight his way to the absolute top of the mountain to become the UFC light heavyweight champion of the world, just overcome with emotion. It was a beautiful thing, okay? But MMA fans, love you all, of course.
I don't believe you.
But you are fickle bastards. You really are. So you went from loving the guy to now hating the guy. And the main reason why people are going after him is because just recently Jamahal Hill was in the PI and he approached Alex Pereira when he was training. He walked up, he had the towel around his neck and said, hey, we're not on Twitter now. Pereira said, oh, you must still be sleeping. Jamahal Hill continued to get closer, but was very nonchalant and non-aggressive in his movements, wasn't being aggressive or erratic or anything like that. Pereira threw the gloves at him and Jamahal was like, what are you talking about? I'm not going to fight you here in the gym. I want to fight you when I get paid for that. Now, a lot of people's opinions on social media was that Jamahal kind of bitched out. But I'll be honest, I kind of agree with his take here.
So I was at the PI earlier and Alex was there. I just finished working out. He was working out. And, I just went to go up and have a conversation, ask him what, we don't have to talk about it across Twitter because I'm right here. Initially when I went up to him, it was smooth. It was like, don't run the heavyweight. I'm gonna go ahead and handle business, and then we need to run this back. And somewhat amongst the exchange, he said something to his translator. His translator said like, oh, he said, you still asleep or you still woke up? And I'm wide awake now. You can get put to sleep for real. And then it kind of went to a whole like fake ass like, oh yeah, come get the gloves and go in the cage, which I replied, what the we need gloves for? We not getting paid right now. You know what I mean? I get paid to fight. I get paid to put on gloves and fight. And when I'm out in a situation like that, we could throw hands right now. You know what I mean? I'm not finna take time, put no gloves on and none of that shit. And his response was just to stand there. So, you know what I mean? It's like, we're gonna get paid. I'm not gonna ruin my bag. Because here's the thing, right? If I had just reached over and hit him there and we started fighting right there, I could possibly lose out on the fight, on my next fight, and any opportunities I have left. I got restrictions now at the PI and all these other things and stuff like that. We get paid. We made a lot of money the first time we fought. Yeah. So why would I not make a lot of money when I knock his ass out the next time?
Why would you want to fight in the gym when you can get paid a ridiculous amount of money to fight for real? Although, on the flip side, I see why people say that as well. I see why they form the opinion that he kind of wimped out a little bit because he did approach him and Pereira threw the gloves. They are in the gym. They could have trained. They could have done a round or two, but it would have got carried away. It would have escalated out of control and somebody might have ended up getting hurt, okay? And to Jamal's original point, why would you do that for free? So he's been talking a little bit of shit at everyone. He's been coming after me as well because I said on my podcast that he was kind of a sore loser about the whole Pereira situation. He came after me talking shit. I was like, listen, I wasn't talking shit. I was saying, as fighters, we need that chip on our shoulder, okay? It's that chip on our shoulder that gets us out of bed, that makes us train our asses off, that makes us push ourselves to the limit to be able to step into an octagon, into a cage in our underwear with 4-ounce gloves on and go up against the baddest mother effers on the planet, right? You need a chip on your shoulder. You want to feel like the entire world is against you. When you feel like that, when you've got that kind of victim complex, it's you against the world, and that can help you. That was the point that I was making. So anyway, he's been going after anybody and everybody on social media. If you go to his Twitter, there's a ton on there and everyone's talking a lot of shit. There's some people that have his back as well. And then just recently, Michael Johnson was talking about it. Of course, Michael Johnson, the menace that just had an amazing knockout at UFC Tampa. He was talking about it and said it was kind of clown shit.
That's some clown. I'm going to be honest. Why even go over there and say anything if you're not prepared to do anything?
In fact, let's just have a quick look at Jamal's Twitter here. So here we go. And the first tweet, here he is talking to Michael Johnson, he says, gang, you a bitch and one of the biggest clowns and pussies on the roster. They keep you around to get slept by debut fighters. I've made more money than you, and you've been here 3 times as long, so I would expect you to know how the money game works. And then they went back and forth talking shit and all the rest of it. Now, listen, Jamahal Hill had a great career. That's a fact. I mean, ever since he signed with the Contender Series, he was knocking everybody out. Let's just have a quick look here at his record. Here he is here. 2019 on the Contender Series, wins by knockout, wins a decision in his UFC debut against Darko Stosic, fights Kitson Abreu. Actually knocked him out, but he tested positive for marijuana. So they overturned it to a no contest, which is bullshit, really. That should still be on his record because it's a bit of marijuana. Who cares? Knocks out Vincent Prue, right? Then he fights Paul Craig, loses, gets, it says TKO elbows and punches. They were, but it was a triangle armbar as well. He broke his arm. If you remember, Jamal's arm was flopping about all over the place. And by the way, I had some real bad beef going into that one. This just shows you, Jamal's a good guy. He's a sweetheart deep down because afterwards, these guys were having a good time. They were dancing away and all the rest of it, and all the beef was forgotten and squashed. Still, after that, he goes on this legendary run here. And this is a legendary run. Knocks out Jimmy Crew, destroys Johnny Walker. That knockout was ridiculous. Knocks out Thiago Santos and then beats Glover Teixeira in that back and forth brawl. In fact, it wasn't back and forth. He kind of dominated him in Brazil, becomes a champ, and as we know, loses to Alex Pereira. So, what's going on? Well, here's what's going on when I can click that. I'll tell you what's going on, right? It's a very tough thing to do. To be Jamahal Hill, or anybody that comes from kind of a disadvantaged background, to fight your ass off, to feel like the whole world's against you, to not get opportunities. Certainly fighters aren't born with a silver spoon in their mouth. And then all of a sudden, you start doing well. That skill pays off. All the training pays off. You get in the UFC, you're knocking people out. You become champion of the world. And then all of a sudden, overnight, you're a global sensation. You're a household name in mixed martial arts. And people talk a lot of shit. Anytime you're in the public eye, anytime, you're going to get good, you're going to get bad. And for some reason, as human beings, we cling on to the bad, right? We see a lot of nice things get said about us, and we're like, yeah, great, we might give it a like or whatever. But it's the people that come after you talking shit, they're the ones that elicit a response, which shouldn't be the way. Me, myself, these days, block.
What an asshole, guys.
You talk shit about me on Twitter, I am blocking you all day long. And by the way, some people wear that as a badge of honor. I don't block anybody on Twitter. Well, I don't want to interact with dickheads in the real world. So why would I want to interact with a dickhead on Twitter? I don't know these people, right? So if you come at me talking shit, it's very simple, block. I never have to interact with them ever again. So you could just do that, Jamal. You could just block these people. However, we've got to remember, he's not PR trained. I wasn't PR trained. Now remember, let's go back a few years. I was one of the most hated people on the UFC roster. I know what you're thinking. That's crazy, Bisping. How could anybody hate you?
For everybody that put their money on Luke Rockhold. Sorry, guys.
Check this out. It is true. Most disliked fighters. Now, this is going back quite a way, as you'll see from the list. But as we go through it here, hold on. Number 1, Josh Koscheck. Number 2, your boy, Michael the Count Bisping. What a prick. As I say, it's an old list. There's John Fitch, Jake Shields, Chael Sonnen, Paul Daly. Paul Daly, that was because the number 1, remember what happened? He lost the fight, he got out wrestled, and then after the fight, he walked over and kind of sucker punched Josh Koscheck. Let's go through the list again, though, because this is fun. John Jones, Dominic Cruz. I have no idea why Dominic Cruz will be on this list. Love you, brother. Jacob Volkman, that just proves it's a long one, an old one. Nick Diaz at 10, Tito Ortiz, Colby Covington, Overeem, Rumble Johnson, rest in peace, of course. Ben Askren, James Gallagher, Melvin Gillard. Yeah, this is old school. Frank Mir, Tyrone Woodley, on and on and on it goes. Nate Diaz is on there back in the day as well. Anyway, so, look, listen, the point that I'm making is, right now, he's getting a lot of shit online, but it doesn't have to stay that way. I remember, as I say there, I was hated. I came off the Ultimate Fighter. I had some popularity. I fought at UFC 66 and people cheered. Then I fought Matt Hamill at UFC 75 in a highly watched fight on Spike TV. I think like 4 million people watched the fight. Of course, Matt Hamill was a deaf guy as well. And we had a little bit of beef on the show. So it was kind of a narrative that I was bullying him because he was deaf. That wasn't the case at all. We were just competitors and we had a really tough fight. He beat the crap out of me for a round and a half and I managed to outpoint him for the next round and a half. And it was a really close fight. And what I should have said when I got the decision was, well done, Matt Hamill. My God, that was a tough fight. What a competitor. But I didn't say that.
Back to wrestling.
I was young, dumb, I was arrogant, I was full of my own shit. And my ego was out of control because I was getting all of this attention. And as I say, we're not trained to deal with this, just like I wasn't, neither is Jamahal Hill, right? And I said some stupid shit on the microphone, and then people went on to hate me. Then I coached the Ultimate Fighter in Team UK versus Team USA. And of course, rightly, the Americans are very patriotic, and I fought the old-fashioned American hero, Dan Henderson, and did nothing but talk shit and disrespect him throughout the entirety of the show. And then at UFC 100, I got knocked out in spectacular fashion in one of the most viral knockouts in the history of the UFC. So I was kind of put in my place. But I continued to work, I continued to train, I continued to improve and get better, and I also continued to mature, okay? I was a young man back then. I'm 45 now. By the time I finished my UFC career, I was almost 40 years old. I was 25, stuck with a microphone in my face after a fight. And when you're almost 40, hopefully, with a bit of luck, you've matured a little bit. And I was able to win some people over. So the point that I'm making is, look, listen, right now, Jamahal Hill, people are shitting on him. But the guy's in fight mode. He's fighting Jiri Prochazka in just under a couple of weeks. So as well as the fact that, all right, he's probably a little bit embarrassed. He's a little bit annoyed. The fact that he has a reason why he can say in his mind why Alex Pereira was able to catch him. I'm not saying there is a reason. What I'm saying is our egos as fighters make us believe that we can beat anybody on the planet in a fight. And when somebody interrupts the fight the way the referee did and then he gets clipped, he's like, that's what happened. That's what happened. I'm not saying that's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I'm saying that is why Jamahal feels that way. And that's why he wants another pop. And that's why a lot of people are going after him and talking a lot of shit. Okay, and then combine it with the fact that he's fighting Jiri Prochazka in under 2 weeks, who is a former champion himself, who's got a very good shot of beating Jamahal Hill. Let's be honest, it's a tough fight to call. Both men are great strikers. Jamal's more of a boxer. Yuri's a samurai, we know that. But he's got a more complicated striking system. He's got beautiful spinning elbows, knockouts. He's got tremendous kicks of his own, and the man can hit takedowns as well. The point that I'm making is, it's not a given for any man. So Jamahal Hill right now is under a tremendous amount of pressure because he wants to get back to winning ways. He wants to get another shot at Alex Pereira. He wants to prove to the world. The reason I didn't put those gloves on in the PI is because I want to fight him in an octagon and I want to beat him fair and square and I want to get paid. So anyway, what do you think of all that? Am I making too many excuses for Jamahal Hill, or have I hit the nail on the head? I think I've got it right, okay? He's an angry dude. He's a little bit pissed off. He's a little bit annoyed. But so what? We need to be. We need to be sometimes. Not everybody. Not some people can be nice and zen, like a George St. Pierre, okay? Some people can be emotional maniacs, like I used to be, okay? And some people can be kind of angry and bitter, like Jamahal Hill is. Whatever you've got to do to get you through that training camp, as long as he is pushing himself to the limit and doing the best that he can do to prepare for UFC 311, if he's doing that, then I'm a happy man, because that is going to be one tremendous fight. I don't know who wins it. Let me know in the comment section who you think wins that fight. What do you think about Jamahal Hill going after everybody? And that's about it. That's the video. Thank you for watching. Subscribe and ring the goddamn bell if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching. See you soon.